So the story begins in the demonic sect. We see two masters talking to their disciple asking, "Are you really going?" Then we see the disciple whose name is Sahan, and he says, "Yes master, I want to go." We are then told about the two masters. The one in brown clothes is the demon poison master, and the one in white clothes is the medical sage master. Then we see the poison master, who says to Sahan, "You've been with us for the last 10 years. Do you still think the dancing sword group will be there?" Hearing this, the medical sage also says, "As poison demon said, they must have moved on by now, and they must have encountered some evil sect." Sahan also says, "There's a high chance that's what happened." After hearing Sahan's words, the medical sage asks, "If you think so too, then why do you want to find them?" Sahan says, "When I was an orphan, they took me in. They kept me with them for 14 years, and I want to repay their kindness and debts." Then we see the poison demon, who says, "Oh, so you want to repay their kindness?" Then the poison demon angrily says, "Do you know your martial arts are not complete, and you want to repay their debts?" So Ham lovingly says, "As master said, my martial arts are not complete, but I am the disciple of poison demon and medical sage, so do I need to fear anyone?" Hearing this, the poison demon says, "You are quite skilled in wordplay," and looks at the medical sage asking, "Didn't I say the right thing?" The medical sage says, "What's new in that? I knew this boy was eloquent." After saying this, the medical sage takes a deep breath and says to the poison demon, "Didn't we already know that this child would eventually go towards his destiny? So what's the point of stopping him now?" After hearing the medical sage's words, the poison demon extends his two daggers towards Suham, who says, "These are the twin moon daggers, which master used to use. I can't take them." Then the poison demon master says, "These daggers are of no use to me. I haven't used them in a long time." Then we see the medical sage master, who says, "Seeing all this, I also feel like I should give Soham something." He gives his essence fan and says, "Since you are leaving the sect, this will help you." Then we see Sahan, who doesn't say anything. Then the masters shout, "Sahan, this martial world is full of dangers. Anyone can defeat anyone here, so you must always keep your mind open and act with prudence." Sahan replies, "I understand." Then the masters tell Sahan, "As your name grows, news of you will reach us." They exchange a knowing smile, and the two masters disappear. Sohan bids them a final farewell and departs. We then see Sahan arriving at Western Dark County. It's night time. Sahan stands before a door and says, "Moon Night Parlor. This used to be the sword dance group's place." Sahan recalls past memories of the place, how everyone lived there, how happy everyone was, how they cared for him. He wonders to himself, are they all safe? Sahan moves forward, thinking, everything has changed here. He notices a bar and says, "That's the Crested Bar. Despite everything changing, this bar remains the same. Something's wrong here." Bar door opens and Sahan enters, thinking, this bar is exactly the same on the inside. Nothing has changed. We then see the people sitting at the bar, all staring at Sahan, but he doesn't seem to care. He continues walking and sits down at a table. Sahan rests his head on the table, but everyone is still staring at him. Sahan notices this, and then everyone begins to release their killing intent. Seeing this, Sahan smiles and thinks, just as I thought, things are about to get messy here. Then, the bar owner comes over, welcomes Sahan, and starts to take his order, but Sahan stares at him, thinking, Doga, his name is Dokan. But looking at his face, it seems he doesn't recognize me. After a while, Sahan orders chicken noodles and soup from the bar owner. The bar owner says okay, and thinks to himself, looking at his clothes, he doesn't seem to be from around here, and it looks like a fight is about to break out. I wish this fight would happen outside my bar. Then, we see three people sitting at the bar, one of whom says to Sahan, not only are your clothes black, but the sheath of your sword also represents darkness. And then he glares at Sahan, but Sahan arrogantly replies, actually these clothes don't have any special meaning, but this was the last set I had, so I thought I might as well wear it. Then, we see a thug who angrily says, this arrogant kid, how dare he talk to us without looking at us? But the thug's leader calms him down, and tells him to sit. Then, Huang asks Sahan, why did you come here? Sahan says, it's nothing special, I'm coming here after a long time. This used to be my hometown. Hearing this, Huang says, hometown, but I've never seen you before. Where did you live? Sahan says, I used to live right across from this bar. Huang says, across from this bar is a night parlor. So are you from that brothel? You don't look like it. Hearing this, Huang's follower laughs and says, this guy was acting so arrogant, and he's from a brothel. Hearing all this, Sahan coldly says, although it's a night parlor now, it used to be the night sword group. Hearing this, Huang laughs and says, so you were from that sword dancing group, the one with the female dancers. Then, we see Sahan getting angry after hearing female dancers from Huang. Sahan angrily says, it wasn't a female dancing group, it was the sword dancing group. Huang laughs and says, what's the difference? Female dancers or sword dancing group I haven't heard about them in a long time. We now see Sehen, who asks Hing, do you know anything about that group? Then we see Huang, who makes a lewd face and says, yes, I know a lot about them, and after hearing you talk about them, I miss them even more. After hearing Huang's words, Sahan gets very angry, and his killing intent starts to emanate from his eyes. He somehow controls his anger and says to Huang, well, that's good. Why don't I buy you a drink? Come sit with me, we'll drink together. Then we see Sahan order a bottle of liquor. Then we see Huang, who says, if you're buying, who am I to refuse? He then picks up his sword and moves towards Sahan, sitting in the chair next to him and showing off his weapon. But Sahan doesn't seem to be affected by the weapon, and seeing this, Huang thinks to himself, this guy isn't even flinching at the weapon. Where does he get so much confidence? I think he must be from a powerful sect. If that's the case, robbing him will be very difficult. Then Hyang asks Sahan, which sect are you from? Sahan replies, I'm not from any sect, nor do I have any powerful people backing me. Hearing this, Huang's eyes light up, and he smiles, thinking, robbing him will be very easy. In the next moment, we see Huang shouting, Dogon, what are you doing? Bring the liquor quickly. Then we hear Dogon's voice, saying, yes sir, I am bringing it right away. Hearing Dogon's name from Huang, Sahan thinks, I was right to recognize the bar owner Dogon earlier. Then we see Sahan pouring liquor for Huang and saying, I'm buying you this liquor in exchange for your stories. Huang is confused and asks, what stories? What stories do you want to hear from me? Sahan says to Huang, I want to hear the stories of the sword dance group. What happened to them? Then Huang says, oh, the stories of the sword dance group. But why do you want to hear their story? Sahan says, that group was very famous in the western county, but suddenly they disappeared. Anyone would be curious to know what happened. Huang says, your words confirm that you're from around here, and I think you must also know the Ash Blood sect, which was that group's rival. Then we see Sahan, who says, yes, I remember that sect, and he thinks to himself that it was a criminal sect. Hing begins to tell the story. As you know, the girls of the sword dancing group were famous for their beauty. 10 years ago, there were two sects in the western county. The first was the Ash Blood sect, and the second was the sword dancing group. The Ash Blood sect wanted to take over the entire western county. That dancing group, Mies, was an obstacle in their path. Because of this, one day, the Ash Blood sect members poisoned one of their own and concocted a story that put all the blame on the Mies dancing group. Gradually, the Blood sect eliminated them. Sohan asks Hing, are all the members of the dancing group dead? Hing replies, maybe not, because the leader of the Blood sect had his eyes on those girls, and they are still with him. Hearing this, Sohan becomes very angry, and his killing intent starts radiating from his body. In anger, he says, the Ash Blood sect. Seeing Sohan's intense killing intent, Huang also starts trembling and steps back. He says to Sohan, I've been drinking, I should go now. But Sohan stops him and asks, are you also from the Ash Blood sect? Hearing this, Huang's legs start shaking, and he nervously replies, we have no connection to that sect. Just then, Hing's followers, seeing Hing scared, ask him, what are you doing here? Hing tells them to step back. One of the followers says to Hing, how can we step back when this rascal is acting so arrogantly? Hing, terrified, says, what are you talking about? Then the follower says to Sohan, I also know a lot about that dancing group. Seeing his follower talk to Sohan like that, Huang completely panics. Then Sohan angrily asks, do you know Du Haiyang? After hearing Sohan's words, Huang tells his follower to be quiet. His follower says to Sohan, that girl was outside the sect that day, so she escaped. Now we see Huang saying, can't you guys hear me? Shut up. But his followers say, Master, why are you so scared? We should teach this rascal a lesson. Hearing this, Hing nervously tells them, you donkey kids, please shut up. Then, we hear Sohan's voice, who says, what was that beautiful girl like? Hearing this, Huang looks back, and his follower says, yes, that girl was quite beautiful, but the girls the Ash Blood sect master took were even more beautiful. After hearing this, we see Huang, whose eyes clearly show fear, and he's thinking to himself, they've been drinking, they don't know what they're saying. Just then, something swiftly flies past Huang's eyes and goes right through both of his followers' heads. Huang looks back in terror and sees that Sohan has killed both his followers with just a chopstick. Then, Sohan runs his sword through Huang, and Huang falls dead on the spot. After killing all three of them, Sohan remembers his master's words, where his master was asking him, do you think your group is still alive? Thinking this, Sohan gets very angry and slams his hand on the table. So guys, that's it for today's episode. The next episode will come tomorrow. So guys, please do support. Thank you.